Welcome to the Unbranded Podcast with me, your host, Pacha Hornaday. A quick note up front for the sake of authenticity and transparency. This episode was created entirely by AI, including an AI clone of my voice, which still needs some work. The content is based on a blog post I wrote, and I have edited the transcript of the episode. But it's not really me talking, which is pretty wild. This is just a test run. I would love your feedback on it. But let's dig in. Today, I want to introduce you to the concept of personagrams. Let's start by breaking down this idea of a personagram. At its core, it's a framework that provides a deeper understanding of who someone is, whether that's an individual or a brand, and what makes them truly unique. It's about defining core traits, values, strengths, and even vulnerabilities that shape how you or your brand show up in the world. It's based on Carl Jung's framework of archetypes. In branding, we use at least 12 different archetypes, but with up to 60 different sub-archetypes, it can get confusing really fast. The personagram framework is a simplification of that process based on 4 dimensions, or superpowers, as I call them. Initiating action, making connections, providing structure, and inspiring greatness. What makes this so important is that it goes beyond surface-level branding or personal development. It's not about just picking some catchy tagline or focusing on aesthetics. Instead, it ensures that everything you communicate, whether you're speaking, designing, or marketing, is grounded in authenticity. And honestly, that's what people are craving these days. When you're clear on your personagram, something fascinating happens. It acts like a compass, helping you align your choices and actions with your vision, your values, and ultimately your goals. Whether those goals are personal or professional, it's about creating this synergy where everything just kind of flows naturally and meaningfully. The beauty of this framework is its versatility. For personal development, it offers clarity that helps you grow according to who you genuinely are, not based on anyone else's expectations of you. And professionally, identifying your personagram gives you a unique narrative in the way you create your brand persona. It positions you not as just another option, but as the option, because you're speaking directly to the people who resonate with your values and approach. So rather than trying to be everything for everyone, a personagram encourages focus. It turns the spotlight on what makes you distinct. It's liberating, really, because it allows you to lean into what you're naturally good at and what feels aligned. For brands, especially in fields like healthcare, this alignment can build trust, loyalty, and a sense of real connection with your audience. And the process itself is, well, it's pretty fascinating. It starts with asking the right questions. Who are you? What do you value? What are you great at? What makes you stand out? What are your quirks and even your struggles? And these questions aren't meant to create a polished version of yourself or your brand, but to uncover what's already there, waiting to be expressed. I think what's most empowering is that the personagram works as both a lens and a roadmap. It shows you where you stand now, but also where you can head, all while staying true to yourself or your brand's essence. All right, now that we've set up the big picture of what the personagram is and why it matters, let's dive into how this applies directly to healthcare providers, especially chiropractors and others in service-oriented fields. Because, let's face it, these professions rely so much on trust and personal connection with clients, don't they? Imagine a chiropractor who's worked through their personagram and identified their superpower as making connections. They're naturally amazing at creating a welcoming space where patients feel seen, heard, and cared for. By leaning into this, they could shape their branding to emphasize that nurturing connection. It's not just about saying we care, but showing it in every way, from the language on their website to how they follow up with patients, even to the smells and sounds of their office. Now, the thing is that pretty much every chiropractor under the sun says, we care. So if making connections is their superpower, they really have to take it to the next level to stand out. Now combine that with their second superpower, and they're starting to have a unique approach and story that attract a certain type of person. Think about how this framework helps them cater to exactly the kind of patients they love to serve. When your brand speaks authentically, it naturally attracts the right audience. That chiropractor who's focused on connection, they're likely going to draw in people who value that same human, personal approach to healthcare, not just folks looking for a quick adjustment, but individuals longing for an experience beyond the clinical. Now, here's where it gets really powerful. In an industry that's, let's say, a little saturated at times, standing out often feels like an uphill battle, right? But with a clear personagram, it's not about shouting louder than everyone else. It's about showing up as authentically and uniquely yourself. There is no other you. It's pretty much as unique as it gets. By doing that, branding doesn't just highlight the service, but the person or team behind it, creating a natural and effortless way to stand apart. I mean, think about other service providers in healthcare too, nutritionists, therapists, even acupuncturists. When they map out their personagram to uncover their superpowers, it shifts how they design every touch point of the client journey. It's not a gimmick. It's, them showing up as who they are, and in turn, reaffirming why they're the perfect fit for their ideal clients. What's key here is that it's not just about attracting their favorite patients and making them feel comfortable. It's about giving healthcare providers the clarity and confidence to show up fully aligned. That's where the magic happens. Not only in fostering deeper client relationships, but also in creating a practice that feels fulfilling and sustainable for them. So we've talked about what the personagram is and how it creates these incredible opportunities for connection and trust in the healthcare field. But let's zoom in on how it aligns perfectly with vitalistic chiropractic practices. Vitalism is inherently about seeing patients as whole, dynamic individuals rather than just a collection of symptoms. It's no surprise this approach pairs beautifully with authentic branding. Take a moment to think about it. When a healthcare provider knows their personagram, it becomes like this guide for showing up authentically, not just in their patient care, but in how they communicate with the world at large. It's branding that doesn't feel like branding, It's just an honest extension of who they already are. Let's imagine a chiropractor whose superpower is, say, providing structure. They naturally thrive when they're teaching and empowering their patients to take charge of their health. By identifying that through the personagram, they can structure their branding to reflect that superpower. So their website might feature educational blog posts or videos explaining adjustments. Their social media could be filled with tips for preventing subluxations in the first place, and even their office environment might reflect this, maybe with resources or workshops that patients can attend, and even the way they treat their patients. A structure person values objectivity and measurable results. They'd love knowing that you scan them and base your care on that. One chiropractor I worked with used the personagram process to really reshape how they thought about their practice. Like their biggest revelation, they realized their strength wasn't just in delivering care, but in fostering a sense of community. And they leaned into this by creating an opportunity for patients and others alike to meet at the weekly farmers market down the street, where they could build trust in a no-pressure environment. Over time, their branding has become less about advertising services and more about saying, hey, we're here for you and we show up with you. We're a part of your journey. And that authenticity, it resonates deeply with the right people. If there's one takeaway from today's episode, it's that understanding your personagram, the superpower as a healthcare provider, not only enriches patient relationships, but also ensures your practice feels fulfilling for you. Because when your branding reflects your values, your strengths, and the kind of practice you want to build, it creates this alignment that just feels easy. You'll attract the right people and build a team that works well together. And that's the beauty of it. Whether your superpower is inspiring greatness, making connections, providing structure, or initiating action, the Personagram framework isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a personalized blueprint, helping you not only stand out, but stand true to who you are. And in today's world, especially in healthcare, that authenticity is what builds trust, loyalty, and those long-lasting connections. On that note, that's all for today. This was an introduction to the Personagram framework and its connection to branding authentically. I hope you found it inspiring and practical. Whether you're a chiropractor, a healthcare provider, or just someone interested in aligning your personal or professional story. I'll be diving a little bit deeper into each brand superpower in future episodes. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.